brought to you by Richmond Foot and Ankle Clinic. And this morning we want to say good morning to our local podiatrist and foot specialist, Dr. Tanisha Richmond. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. It's warm outside.
It is. It is warm outside. It's gorgeous outside. I think everyone is looking forward to this day.
Oh, yes. With the snow last week, yes.
Isn't that interesting? That is Ohio for sure.
Yes, it is. It is Ohio. This is our weather.
Absolutely.
Just wait. It's going to change.
It is going to change. That's right. And it changed for the better and for the good. And everyone has smiles on their faces. And I know when you and I were coming in the building, you had a smile on your face and you were excited. It's just that energy that the beautiful weather does and the sunshine does for us. And,
yeah.
You know, speaking of sunshine, isn't it great that we can have that and what it does for the body?
Well, actually, it helps us physiologically to have sunshine, because it's a thing with seasonal affective disorder. It does affect our mood. I noticed that when I lived in Cleveland, or most of the time, most of the year we're overshadowed, not a lot of sun, and it affects your personality and your happiness, because usually when I go home to Louisiana, it's sunny. My personality just switches.
Yes.
And you're also making more vitamin D, which is helpful for your immune system and other systems in your body.
And don't we all need that?
And most people in this part of the country are vitamin D deficient. Most of us are taking supplements. I take supplements too.
I do as well. I take the vitamin D supplement, but today we can get out there and get it naturally.
Oh yes, you need to get out there. We're gonna hit 84 degrees today.
Yes, that is fantastic. It's remarkable because we have not seen that this year. And,
no, we haven't.
And I think it shows that we'll hit 84 somewhere around 4 or 5 o'clock. But I mean, just look what it is now, 79 beautiful degrees.
Oh yeah. When I talk to my mom and people in the South, they're like, "That's cold." I said, "That's swimming weather for us in Ohio."
Right, exactly.
We can go to the beach.
Yes, we absolutely could. I mean, it's just a beautiful day.
Yeah.
We hope that our listening audience are out there enjoying the day and are prepared to listen today and get some great information on what you normally provide for us, some insight on things that affect our footsteps in life and footsteps in life today. Usually you come with just a variety of topics today, but it's interesting that you have a topic that actually affects you directly.
Yes, I do. I haven't really talked about it much because, I have MS, which is muscular sclerosis. I was actually diagnosed in, March of 2015. Mm-hmm. So my first symptom was in December of 2014. I was in New Orleans, sitting next to my mother, watching Suits. I can remember that. And I was sitting there talking to her, and my whole right side went numb. And I turned to my mother and I said, my whole right side just went numb. And she's a nurse, so she told me to smile. And my smile was correct. And people of me having a stroke. So that's why we always tell people to smile if you're having stroke symptoms, because if you smile and your smile is crooked or half your face isn't moving, that's a sign of a stroke. So I smiled. My smile was normal. And my mom was like, "You need to go see a neurologist. Well, go see your primary care doctor when you get back to Dayton." When I went back to Dayton, I saw my primary care doctor, Dr. Marlon Twyman, who's down the street at Prime Ed, and he sent me to a neurologist. I saw him once. He did a whole list of tests on me. Saw him back in a month. And I was positive with all the different tests, spinal taps, blood work, MRIs, and I was diagnosed with MS. And I started on my meds probably within a month of that visit, had a relapse on my first med, switched doctors to a neurologist at University of Cincinnati, and have been with that doc since then, and really no more problems.
Well, that's a wonderful thing that you're doing well with it. But for those, Dr. Richmond, that may not be familiar with what multiple sclerosis is or MS, can you share exactly what that is and what that deficiency is?
So MS is an autoimmune disorder. So that means in MS patients, our immune system attacks our central nervous system. So your central nervous system is from your brain down to your spine. So depending on what parts of your immune system the MS attacks depends on your symptoms. Like over the years, when I go for treatment, I'll see people who can't walk. I may see people who are in wheelchairs, some people who are severely what's called spastic, or they can't control their bowels, or they can't control their bladder. I actually have a patient that went blind from her MS because her lesions are in the optic nerve, so it made her go blind. So my lesions luckily was more with balance and things like that. So once my MS was controlled and my immune system was dampened with the medication, my symptoms went away. And then by me staying on my meds, which my doctor told me I'll have to stay on my meds until my 60s. They say usually in your 60s, your body just miraculously quits attacking you. And you just don't need MS meds anymore. But I find in the African American community, especially the men, don't do as well. Actually, my friend, she was actually in residency here in Dayton, and then she did her residency in MS, in neurology with a specialty in MS, because her brother died from MS. But she told me statistically, black men do the worst with MS.
And why is that?
Well, it probably mostly compliance with the meds. You know, our meds have a lot of side effects, really bad side effects. But
give us an example.
Well, there's a thing called PML, which is a brain infection, which basically means so the MS drugs affect your immune system. So they cross over into our blood-brain barrier and kill the white blood cells who would attack our central nervous system. Well, PML is an infection where something has been able to cross over, like a bacteria or a virus, and because our immune system is being decreased, dampened, so it doesn't attack us, it may not attack the bacteria or the viruses, which if it gets in there, it could make you very sick or kill you. So, but you know, my thing was, I'm gonna take this risk versus not being able to walk, talk, take care of myself, work. I'm gonna take that risk.
So you mentioned a relapse. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what that experience was like?
So the relapse was my whole head went numb. Like I was just sitting there and I couldn't feel my head, my face, any of that. And I called my neurologist. He sent me in for an MRI. He called me and sent me to the hospital after the MRI because I had a new lesion, which means it's like a new hot spot. It shows up on your MRI. And for that, they give you, either they admit you or they do it outpatient, 3,000 milligrams of steroids, IV. So they did that.
That's aggressive treatment.
Well, that's pretty much the treatment for when you have a relapse. It's to tamper the immune system.
And turn it around quickly?
Yeah, it calms it down. I mean, it's like putting a rein on a horse. It stops it. However, it has really bad side effects. So I was admitted to the hospital. I had what you call a steroid anger. Because if you hear about like the people who take steroids, abuse them, usually like the fighters, the wrestlers, they'll kill their wives, they'll kill people, it's because they're taking steroids and it affects your personality. Because in the hospital, I kept saying, I want to see a therapist, I want to see a psych, and they're like, you all right. It's the steroids. And then I'm diabetic, so my sugars were going through the roof, and they were just pumping me with insulin, trying to keep me level because